Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. Now, what you're seeing here is a very interesting deck. And for the most part, I will say, I feel like you can apply this list to many blue leaders. So like if you see how the list is, there's like the two double summoning mechanics and they overlap. I was like, wait a minute. Impel Down and Baroque works. There's a lot of pieces that are overlapping. So yeah. So we did that with Ivankov. And like thinking about it, I'm like, you could kind of splash this with any blue leader, to be honest. You know, I'm not going to be able to tell you how effective it is with every blue leader, but it might be a very effective system. I don't believe we perfected it, you know, like I said, multiple minds out there, and I'm sure somebody could see something that we don't see. But for the most part, you know, Ivankov is a very challenging deck because you have to know what's worth getting rid of. It's nuts. Listen, being a deck builder and really trying to produce good quality decks for y'all, he continues to have me learn about this game and continues to have me learn what's a deck. This app just loves giving duplicates. Ugh. I don't care what anybody says. This app does this. This is a normal thing in the app. All right? Whatever. Anyway, back on track. Let me stop being stupid. So, what you call it? The challenges with Ivankov is just knowing and feeling comfortable with like discarding and stuff like that. Ivankov is a leader that essentially helps you get your pieces. But once again, I said this in other videos, they overvalued the ability and they put like such a condition on it that it was absurd. Yeah, you go to 0 cards in hand. You draw 2. And then in theory, let's say you take a damage and then you draw. So you got 4 cards in your hand next turn, right? You take a damage, you gain a life, that's 3 cards, and you draw. Now you start in your turn with 4 cards, essentially. But the problem is to be in a very constrictive situation just to gain that level of benefit is insane. They overvalued it. So that's like one aspect of this. They definitely overvalued it. The second aspect is, I don't know. I think I've fused two thoughts that are going in different lanes. So in this build, essentially, we want to be able to make sure we utilize resources well. So instead of just, you know, discarding cards like excessively, that's an interesting decision, being that there's a 10 drop on the board. Okay, anyway, there's a lot of 2Ks in here and counter power in here, so that way we can discard for counter power as opposed to having to like find other means of getting our hand low. But granted, we had the Bucky as a backup. I guess so, that makes sense. But granted, what do you call it? We have discard options, yada yada. I hope I'm getting my thoughts cleared. You know what? Let me kind of mentally start over without actually starting over. So to pilot this deck, especially with the stage card, we realize how crucial and critical the stage card is. Especially with the stage card, you got to feel comfortable knowing what to get rid of. You got to feel comfortable chucking. You got to feel comfortable. You know, you got to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm realizing that's blue decks in a nutshell. When you see the original blue system, blue is just about consistency. I would go Croc before I would go Ivankov, but okay, that's nuts. But I'm guessing the player is looking at it as counter power. Oh, another Shanks. So anyway, where was I? So yeah, stage card helps you dig into the deck. The leader ability helps you dig into the deck. Essentially, Ivankov was going to be a very consistent leader. you're doing this to dig for whatever you need, the essentials, what's important. And at the time, 7-drop Ivankov is the boss card, and the engine. It was just hunt for your 7-drop and then draw, and then use your leader ability, use your stage, just to make sure you're hunting and fishing for more and more and more 7-drop plays, and just double summon. So Inazuma comes out to help like soften the system, because having to constantly be at 0 cards was insane. And it's a forced 0. You have to be at 0, and not being able to play the game, essentially not being able to play defense, not being able to reestablish yourself. So Inazuma is a huge quality piece. Now so in this deck, we have the 2 double summonings. We have Buggy, because we have so much double summonings. So granted, Buggy is board removal, but it is possible to have a board filled with 5 drop, 5 cost and up. 5 cost and up, because we have lots of targets, so you got the Inazumas, the 6-drop Inazumas, I should say. You got the 7-drop Croc, the 7-drop Ivankov. You got the 5-drop 2K counter, and whatever other cards are in this deck. But it is possible. Right, the 5-drop Crocodile, because it's a target for both Ivankov and 7-drop Crocodile. So there's a lot of overlap. It's fine to double summon and play your 2K counter Bon Clay, who's also a 5-drop. Like, you see how this works? So you can actually have a board filled with the 5-drops and then play Buggy and have him stick to the board, But in the play you guys saw earlier, we'd use Buggy just to get rid of Shanks, because we chose to use the trigger ability of the Red Rock that we got from Life. Well, Shanks does make things annoying, but we do have the stage to just get rid of our entire hand, which would allow Inazuma to be stronger. So all of them would be 6Ks. So that's possible. Yep, there it goes. So Inazuma gets a 2K boost, so 1K altogether. And we just got to make sure we're swinging healthy enough. They do got 4 active Dawn, but oh no. Okay. I was like, a part of me thinks it's a bluff. It wasn't a bluff. Yo, that Roger was going to hit the board next turn. He was serious. Okay, well, he's continuing to think. Hopefully, I managed to explain the deck well. Oh, he quit. Hopefully, I managed to explain the deck well enough, but feel free to, ask some questions in the comment section. But yeah, piloting the deck is going to be a bit of a chore, because you have to just be comfortable hunting for pieces. If you can get comfortable hunting for pieces, you'll be able to pilot the deck. And it's kind of let me realize that's Blue in a nutshell. Yeah, So, one of the things I was explaining earlier, like if you look at the classic cards like Perona and Blocker 3-drop Doflamingo, and then now we got these cards that you're drawing and bottom decking some cards, and then the impulse down system, discarding, and yada yada. If you look at Blue in a nutshell, it has the ability for high consistency, but you really have to be comfortable just getting rid of cards. Like that's the core principle. You need to be comfortable, man. And so if you feel like y'all can be comfortable, then you could probably excel with this deck or with the leader. And of course, take your liberties to customize and make some changes. take some liberties to enjoy the deck the way y'all would want to enjoy it. But essentially, that's the one thing I would like y'all to have kept in mind is this is, in my personal opinion, this is my belief that this leader and this system is literally all about finding your set play, finding your end game. You're going to 0 cards to draw 2 so you can dig for, the other pieces you need to keep loading up your board. Inazuma is going to turn that draw 2 to draw 4, and once that Inazuma engine kicks in, it's insane, and then you got 2 double summon pieces, and like I say, the targets overlap. It's okay to play Bon Clay. It's okay to play Crocodile, obviously, or more so it's the 2Ks. The 2Ks are okay to play as double summon targets if they're the targets. But obviously, Crocodile is a target for Ivankov and Crocodile, right? It's kind of funny as you see the setup that we got right now. The two archetypes has a lot of overlap, so a lot of double summoning mechanics, and you just gotta push the system. That's all it really is. You just gotta push the system. Now, since we're going up against Nami, it's kind of funny. We got some blockers on the board. As long as that Zeph can't do damage to us, we don't really have that. Yeah, 14 cards already. That's insane. As long as we can block Zeph, we don't really have to worry. Some mighty 10k swings. So, even though 7k in a nutshell isn't, in my personal opinion, isn't good enough for a boss card, the fact that we have 2 sets of double summon 7k potential, you know what I'm saying? And now it's just like it just increases the flood rate. That's so I think this system just can allow you to set up a way more aggressive board, where initially all you had was Ivankov, and then Ivankov had to find, your 2 pieces that you cared about. At the time, it was, what was it? It was definitely Luffy. Was the other one 5-drop Croc, or am I forgetting somebody? But anyway, Inazuma came out, so Inazuma's a good target, a great target for Ivankov. So now your situation gets even stronger. We don't play the Luffy. We don't think it's needed, to be honest. That's about it. I think I've pretty much covered everything important. Like I said, the only real hurdle with the deck is once you got the stage card. The stage card is important. I would say anybody can play 4 stage cards. I think the way this particular deck flows, you don't have to really be too scared. But I know traditionally nobody likes to play 4 stage cards because you don't want to get it in life. It's a bad card to get in life, basically. But it happens, right? But it can never be a brick, because once you got a stage card in play, you always have a cycle out option. But the stage card is just a very strong system to help you dig into your deck, because it sets up your hand. It can force your hand to have no cards. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. If you want to play Ivankov, don't be afraid to play a healthy number of stages. Obviously, 2 would be the minimum, but 3 to 4, that's some advice I would give, my personal advice. But train your brain. I know I'm beating a dead horse right now. Ooh, we opened up with the stage card and 3 copies of Ivankov. Train your brain to just know how to discard cards. Mr. 3 is actually super great. I love Mr. 3. It's just kind of crazy. He's a blocker, and he can attack and then restand himself. But with Ivankov, the leader, with this engine, with this system, he sets up your hand. He can thin your hand out so you can just start gaining that situation to just dig in your deck like crazy. He helps a lot. So and for the opponent, it's obnoxious because it's like you're attacking now, like, but you're no longer an attack target, and now you got a blocker if you really want to. You know, it's kind of nuts. We're going up against Reiju. Now, one of the things I noticed about Reiju, especially, you know, being a deck builder, is that she's obnoxious. It's like she may not be the best deck when it comes to the meta, in a sense. Like, I would say she struggles against those serious decks, but she just bullies every other deck. You know, you could be trying your best, man. You could have really made a solid deck, a solid build. You could have put all the cards that you felt was necessary to deal with certain matchups and stuff like that, right? You know, you're looking at primarily black, the worry about board removal, all that stuff. And you know, in your mind, you're like, yeah, I think I got something. And then you go up against Reiju. And you just lose. Because even though you put all the necessary pieces to deal with these other decks, Reiju's flow and style is just not them. So you get outpaced and bullied, and then you just feel like your deck sucks. And I was like, you just gotta learn. This is the rock paper scissors type game, you know. So it's just because you lose to some deck doesn't mean your deck or your build is bad. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. So to all the deck builders out there, matchups is just a thing. But Reiju will just make you feel like your deck is bad. That's what I'm saying. She makes you feel like your deck is bad. So it's just a Reiju thing. It just does this. It just puts cards on board and it tends to outpace you. So never get discouraged. That's the best thing I'm trying to say. Ooh, caught a Gravity Tiger trigger. Interesting. I guess. Was that red able to attack? I was doing so much talking, forgive me. I guess the red could attack and then Mighty morphed. So that was a good play when you think about it. You just bottom decked it so they couldn't get the most out of it. Because it would have been a bit obnoxious to have to deal with that right now. Because Gravity Tiger wouldn't have been able to target them. We're just cycling right now. The stage card is real solid. I feel like it's just mandatory. But you just got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So here we go. We could have potentially used the stage card to just get our hand to 0. But this all works out. Now we got 4. And we have another double summon system. So you see, pretty cool when you think about it. We got lovely amount of defense. With all the 2K counters, it's primarily because it helps us get our hand low while gaining value from the resources. So that's something to keep in mind, right? So you're just not chucking and throwing things away like willy-nilly. You're actually gaining a oh crap. Wow, they picked the wrong target. People got trouble doing that. I'm gonna assume they picked Ivankov because Ivankov is a 7-drop. Not reading the card, they just assume, let me go for the higher cost card. I think it's just a natural thing, just to assume the card with the higher cost is the card that's the bigger threat. Okay, so we kind of got lucky. We do have another double summon play, and we discarded it. Should that be considered a misplay? Because I am confused. We could have potentially double summoned and then had 0 cards and just drew 4 new cards. So big boy swing on their blue. I don't think they're going to protect that because that's a lot. That's okay. They're choosing to protect it. But now you're vulnerable because all we need to do is a simplistic, 5k swing, and then a 6k swing. Yeah, we can play Inazuma and then discard the Croc, I would say. That's a lot. Discard the Croc, I would say, to restand Mr. 3. There we go. Use leader. There we go. Right timing. And then we just 4 cards. So many cards. 4 new cards. And then so we got a buggy for board removal, which is fantastic. So this game is like hyper in our favor. We got some more double summon mechanics, so that's delicious right there. And technically, if we want to, we can thin our hand out by a lot. Right now we're countering out, but we have the stage. The stage can just put our hand to 2 cards. We can play Ivon, draw 2, and then play Inazuma. So we got plays. We got some cheeky plays. But yeah, I think hopefully I don't know what to call it, swarm potential maybe. Hopefully you guys see the potential in being able to constantly put bodies on the board as well as digging into the deck. Just digging into the deck and gaining constant resources, and finding your setup, rinse and repeat. If they answer your board, oh well, you could just keep digging into the deck and finding more pieces just to reestablish your board. So I think it's a good system. So we don't get rid of a card, because all we need to do is get rid of 1 card, and we could have drew with Inazuma, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know if an accident happened or what. Let's see if they want to attack the buggy. We got a lot of life. We have some counter power. We got a blocker. So we got 3 life. I'm sure we'll get more counter power, but they decided to quit. Understandable, because the game looks unwinnable right now. Yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed the build. I think it was pretty cool. And thanks for watching.